All of these primitives have a size, and depending on their size, they can store certain values. On the slide, you can see a table of the different sizes. Let's zoom in on how this works. As you can see at the very bottom, the Boolean holds a 1-bit value. Every bit can hold a 0 or a 1. In case of a 1-bit, that means that there are two options, 0 or 1. Since a Boolean can hold a 1-bit value, it has two options only, 1 and 0, which makes sense because it only has the options true and false. Even though the Boolean data type represents 1 bit of information, its size isn't precisely defined. That's why the very bottom row is a bit vague. Here you can see 1 bit, and 1 bit is depicted as a little square. In this case, a bit can hold two values, 0 or 1. So if we have 1 bit, the total number of options is 2. Alright, so this is how it would sort of work for a Boolean. Let's keep that in mind. If we look at byte, byte is an 8-bit signed value. What does this mean? Well, 8-bit means that we have 8 options for 0 or 1. This would give us a total of 2 to the power of 8 options. As you can see on the slide, every cell holds 2 options, hence we go to 2 to the power of 8, since we have 8 cells, 8 bits. This equals 256. The highest number we can get to with a Boolean though is 127. This is because it's a signed number. We can also have negative numbers. All the negative numbers, 0 and the 127 positive options, makes 256 options in total. Alright, to wrap up on the primitives. We have had a look at the primitive values. We've seen primitives for whole numbers, integers, byte, short, int and long. And we've seen primitives for floating points, float and double. We've also seen primitives for characters, namely char, and for booleans, the true and false values, namely boolean. There are different types for variables as well, reference types. One of these built-in reference types that we use a lot is string. String is used for storing text, and we'll have a look at it soon. First, we're going to have a look at what we can do with these primitives. We're going to be talking about operators.